I've got your plan open in my copy of Pro 2018. And the first thing I noticed after I checked default settings, which you did properly, very well done, is that the roofs are not properly connected to each other. So I'm going to go up to the second floor and select these two roof planes here and send them down using this icon here, display on floor below. And then it'll be more evident that this line should be connected to this edge of this roof plane, and they're not. And that's going to cause problems with the skylights and create artifacts and all kinds of things. So you just take this line here, click on it, use the Join Roofs tool. See it there highlighted in the Edit toolbar. Left click on that and click on that. And then now they're connected. Same thing over here. Click on that one, Join Roofs, click on that one. And okay. And you can see that this valley here crosses the skylight. That's what Joanne's talking about. It's like, that can't be made to work. Skylights cannot cross to roof planes. Now, this skylight will work if you move it over away from this valley. Maybe that doesn't help your spacing, but that's what works in the software, and that's what works in actual construction. Now, here's the other side. This edge here will connect probably, to this edge here. Now, the only problem I see with that is there's an extra break here. And the Join Roofs tool only works on connecting one line segment to another line segment. So we have to get rid of this line segment by dragging it to the end there to eliminate it. Then we can select this edge. There, I selected that edge. Join roofs and join that. Let's see, that sort of works. This needs to go further up roof, but that's just because we haven't connected the other side. And let me see where that connection goes. It's a little hard to think with some of this stuff, especially for a new person. What I recommend is for new people who, as you have said, have no CAD skills, I'm going to hit Shift F6, and that allows, well, let me do it again, it didn't work. There we go. So there's the 3D model on the left. See, I want to get this connected up to the, and connect these edges here as connected, but I have to do the other side as well. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, see, this is straight, and it actually needs to be this line needs to be connected to this line, and I can't connect it right now because there's additional breaks in it. So I'm going to drag that break out of there to simplify that to one line entity, and then when I click on this and click on the Join Roofs tool, it will then, or at least attempt to connect to the main roof. Okay, and you can see this angle here goes right across this skylight. Again, that's what Joanne was talking about. You commonly wouldn't build a skylight across a valley, and that's a valley where two roof planes meet at an angle, and so this is going to have to be respaced, made smaller, or just respaced so that it's not in conflict with other roof planes. Now let's take a look. Okay, now here's something I noticed. You got a designed in dead valley. That's extremely bad architecture. And the reason for that, the reason I say that, is that when you have a situation like this, water's going to stand there and it'll destroy the roof. If it's allowed to just stand in place after a rain, it will penetrate the roof and destroy the structural members underneath and your drywall and so forth. So that has to be accounted for. Now, this part here can stay, but I would leave it just, now let me show you. Let me go, let's see, that's where that porch is. Where is that? I don't see it. There, that's where we're looking. So I know that you put this wall in here with your auto roofs, and of course that's over with, so we don't need that wall in there anymore. I'm going to delete that. And so this part here can stay out there. I'm just going to use the break line tool and chop it off outside the wall. So it's still there, visible. And then we need to get what's called a roof cricket or roof saddle to eliminate this dead valley. And it's just an additional manually placed roof plane. And it's usually triangular shaped. Let me just, how you would do that, and then I'm going to draw a baseline right over here against the outer wall of the porch and slant it up roof. You should see it appear before long. Okay, there it is. And I want it to match this height right here. And let's see if I can get some sort of idea what that is. Now it's going to be a little bit hard to figure out exactly. I'm just going to drag this roof plane out here right to the edge. Well, it's snapping around, so I'm going to use point-to-point move. Left click, left click, left click. Okay. Yeah. So I need to lower it a few inches so that this roof saddle that I'm creating here matches this height here, and it's not that easy to see. So I'm just going to click on transform replicate and move it down -6 inches. Okay, it's a little bit closer. I'm going to turn off the gutter on this roof plane. Don't need any gutter on a roof saddle. Or, yeah. Okay, now this sort of roof plane is triangular shaped. Just take my word for that. They're almost always triangular shaped. I'm going to make that into a triangle by just this dialogue, just ignore it. I never use it. I've never successfully used it for anything positive. Okay, so there's our triangular shaped roof plane. And what I'm going to do is take this edge here and connect it to the edge of the roof saddle right there. Okay. Now, I didn't check the pitch on this. I probably should. Well, 312 is probably fine. I'll evaluate that later as we develop this. So now you can see the angle of the roof saddle on this side got quite a bit more expansive. And I want to connect it to this edge here of this roof plane, so I'm going to select that edge and then select the roof saddle and left click. Okay, again, see, that moved it right across the skylight, and that's what this error message is about, as one would expect. Now, so all that means is, see, well, Yeah, this edge needs to connect to this edge. But I think I'm going to have to alter the geometry of that roof plane a bit so that they'll, again, the roof plane, the join roof tool only connects one line to one line, so no, that didn't work. Let me try it again. Well, I see, oh, okay, there, that must be it. Okay, so now we have, no longer have a dead valley here. We have this, see, where's my, I want to go to this screen and rotate. Where's the rotate? There it is. Now, I created some other problems here. Here's the roof saddle I've added. And of course, this roof plane's still kind of lost. So what has happened? I'm trying to figure out how to wrap this up. This doesn't look correct. So after I straighten out the roof, then I would put any attention on skylights. Until your roof is properly designed and connected, you wouldn't even think about commonly skylights because they're so dependent on the geometry. Oh, I see. We got this hanging down here like that, so that's gotta be, that can't be there like that. Click on this edge and then click on that roof plane. Okay, this message here just means that the order I gave the software, it's not programmed to carry out. That's all that means. So that just means I have to, and roof editing is not particularly easy. It's a skill that you develop after you've studied the material in the reference manual, and then you practice with it for hours and hours and hours until you get a result. Now, here, this edge here, I want to connect to this edge. So I'm just going to grab this. Oh, I have it. When I grabbed that, I didn't realize there was 2 points there, so that was good to find out. We'll connect these 2 edges. Okay, that did connect that time. And this probably connects to the top of the roof saddle, I think. Let's see if it does. Well, there's just not enough geometry here for the software to carry out my command, so I'm just going to reshape that a little bit and try again. See, that's this edge right here, and I think it'll end up connecting once I get everything corrected. I need to look at this at a different angle. It may be that this roof plane and this roof plane can't meet. Let's see what the pitch is. Oh, I see, they're both the same pitch. All right. So this roof saddle can't be 312. I'm going to lock the fascia top because I got that about the right z-axis height, and then we're going to make this 212 and see if we can't get a better connection here. Okay, that looks like it. Well, it did some other things that I didn't want to happen, but it did do what I did want to happen. This here, I just need to add some geometry to this roof plane. See, that one's the big main. I think that's this one. Yeah. So, see, where's that roof saddle? That's not it. Oh, goodness gracious. my roof saddle became huge. Not going to work that big. I'm going to make it a lower pitch. Again, I want to keep the fascia top the same height. And we'll go 112. And this roof cricket will just have to be some sort of impervious roofing. You won't be able to put shingles on that. Okay, that's a little better. There's that roof cricket now. That's ridiculously large, but okay. I'm just going to break this main roof plane off right about there, and make this new edge that I just created perpendicular. See, this overhang down here, I don't need it down there. So okay, that's cleaning that up a little bit. I guess it'd help if I had a better angle. I mean, this is kind of awkward with these two gables coming together like this. I don't think that's a very good design, but see, ideally, you wouldn't have it hanging down like that. You just have these come together. Now, I'm just guessing, but it's slightly better design. I wouldn't have the two gables there in the first place coming together over a porch. It's kind of stupid looking, in my opinion. That's better. I'm just trying to get this to all connect together in a cogent kind of a way. Now I'm going to try to connect this line to that line. I just created that line. And they did, okay, this is beginning to clean up. So there's our roof saddle to eliminate the dead valley. Now, obviously this goes over too far to the left. Not quite sure why it's doing that. You know, sometimes using, let's see, a different type camera, it's a little bit easier to see these lines here in a vector view camera. So that's connected pretty well. Now I can see right away I don't need this jog in there. Well, we can connect those two lines now that I've simplified the edges of the roof plane. And this edge here should connect to the roof saddle. Let me try that again. I just left click and then left click. That should move up there. Okay, that's pretty much done. And like I say, I don't like this, but you've designed it in there, and so you have to deal with it, with this roof cricket. If you don't like it, well then change your design, my advice. Now you can, only now can you then lay out skylights, and you have to stay away from these valleys. You can't put a skylight across a valley. That's the law. You can make a custom skylight to sit across a valley, but they're very, very expensive because they're custom made. So as a designer, I just try not to go there because it's unnecessarily expensive. I think this is all cleaned up roof-wise now. I could be wrong, but now you can start thinking about skylights and thinking about your interior issues. Now, first thing I noticed when I glanced around in here, let's see, there's a skylight. It's kind of a square one. I don't see those roof artifacts, ceiling artifacts that you were talking about, but we just started looking. Let's go over here. Not quite sure what that is. I don't consider that an artifact or a problem. Let's see, let's use the arrow keys and move around a little bit. I don't see any of those artifacts like you were talking about. I think once you straighten the roof out, that'll handle the artifacts. And let me say this about this software. I've been using it for over 20 years, and it's not perfect. And if you wanted to display something perfectly, it's on the onus is on the end user to do things like adding soffits or patches and so forth to make everything look perfect, when in fact it is not perfect. This software is quite wonderful, but perfect it is not. That looks like a little square skylight. You go to vector view. Okay, that looks like a soffit right there. You click on that and remove it. That was an earlier fix based on other considerations, and I just delete that, and then that'll not cover up the, oh, I see. That soffit was put there to patch these holes. Well, like Eric said, this is unnecessary in Home Designer Pro. And like in architectural, suite, essentials, yeah, this might be a fix, but in Pro there's a better fix. And let's see, get rid of some of those X's. I just hit the delete key to get rid of the temporary points. If you want this to be nice and clean and vaulted from one end to the other, let's go back to the, yeah, then you have to add ceiling planes like Eric suggested. And a ceiling plane is found under Build, Roof, Ceiling Plane, right there. Left click. And you draw these on the inside edge, just like you would a roof plane. You establish a baseline for it, and then you drag in the direction you want it to slant. Now I'm going to go back to the camera. Okay, there it is there. That's that ceiling plane I just drew. And it looks like the pitch is a little bit too low. Let's see, the pitch of the roof is 5. That's probably why. The ceiling plane gets its pitch from here, so we'll probably want to change that to 5 before we create another one. And this ceiling plane here, I'm going to click on it, and we'll open this dialog box and change it to 5. It'll probably look a little bit better. Okay, so it just smooths out the ceiling, and skylights will poke through this where they won't poke through a soffit. Now I'm going to take this ceiling plane and I'm going to copy it, make the copy, just stick it over there, and then we're going to take that copy and we're going to rotate it, or reflect it horizontally. And then I'm going to drag it over here where I want it to, just inside the wall there. I'm going to zoom in to make sure that it's exactly where it's off, just a fraction of an inch. So I'm going to use point-to-point move to move that from where it is to where I want it, right on the edge of the framing. Let's go back to the camera and see if that solved anything. Well, there it is there. Now you can see that the skylights haven't poked through yet, but we're not finished. We'll connect the ridge point on the ceiling plane. And eventually those skylights should, let's move that a little bit. Well, it's making a liar out of me. They should automatically come through. Let me check these skylight. That's correct. Okay, let me go over here to build roof dialog, and we'll. No, I don't want to build roof planes, because all that manual editing I've done would be lost. I just want to build walls and, well, there used to be a thing in here. I don't see the command anymore. Just wanted to rebuild walls, floors, and ceilings. Let me try the build menu. Oh, they moved that command. It used to be in the build roof dialog, but it's not there anymore. I assume you haven't turned that off, and see, auto rebuild walls. No, that's on. Not quite sure when those skylights are not poking through. I'm going to turn the furniture off. You can turn it back on. It's just over here under furniture interior, I think it is. Yeah, there it is. See, what's that? There must be a bounding box. Yeah, okay. I think it's under architectural blocks. Yeah. Okay, so now I just see the skylights and where they are. Well, let me do this. I'm just going to delete that one, and we'll create a new one and see if the new one doesn't poke through. Build roof skylight. Yep. Looks like that worked. Let's check the camera. Yeah, there it is. So you might have to rebuild the skylights. Let's see, and those are 2x4, I guess. I'm going to delete these old ones. Now, why I have to do this, I don't know, and I don't care. I just do what I have to do in order to get the job done. I'll take this and change that to 4 feet. Oops, that went up. No, it didn't. I'm just going to take that and let's see. We'll make 3 copies and move them 30, each one 30 inches, or no, 36 inches up screen. Yeah, like that. Let's see if they're working now. Well, These copies didn't work. This one worked. But this didn't resize when I... wonder why that didn't work. Try it again. That looks better now in plan view. Okay, that's working. So you just have to redo the skylights after you've straightened out the roof and added the ceiling plane. See, there's no artifacts now. Looks like some wall artifacts, and there's probably something we can do about that. See, there's a wall polyline. There's a wall polyline. Now this is probably an attic wall that's automatically generated. Yeah, attic wall, no room to find. That's the software makes those. And then just below that is this one here. That's another attic wall. Huh, wonder why that is. Probably something you've done. There's this line here doesn't belong. Not quite sure where that's coming from. What is that? That's not an attic wall. I want to know. Well, okay. You've got the default set to 8 feet. Let's check that out. It's going to do a cross section. And we'll go over here and put a point here on the floor. And I click on that point and set it to 8 feet. Well, no, that's not it. I was thinking, why is this being split into 2 wall polylines? Well, let's pursue that. That's kind of weird. Unless you made it a pony wall, and it doesn't appear that. Why would you use siding 6 on the inside of a house? I don't understand that. Yeah, you've used siding. What is that? Interior 6. So where am I looking? I guess my camera's looking at this, and I'm seeing a siding 6 wall somewhere. Here's the siding 6 wall. Okay, you created the second floor to create this open below area. Okay, I get it. And it's just adding this line here in vector view cameras. If I change it to back to standard, it'll probably yeah, it disappears. Never mind. Not that big a deal. But from my point of view, the case is pretty much solved. You straighten out the roof, which needed a lot of straightening out, by the way. And then a lot of this stuff that you were complaining about just vanished. I don't know what that crap is. It seems to be, well, not quite sure why it's doing what it's doing now, because I got these all in one roof plane. Let me check it from the outside. Ooh, that's why they're not showing up on the exterior. Now we're having a problem with skylights. See, what is that? Is that a skylight or is it? It's a roof hole. Oh, okay. It's a roof hole, but not a skylight. Well, I guess in this case, I'm going to delete those goofy ones and see if I can see this one. Yeah, that one looks like a skylight. That's okay. That's got a soffit or something in front of it. So once I added the ceiling planes, you probably have to redo the skylights. That's what it's looking like. And it's no big deal to redo. I'll just get rid of all this old stuff in this area only. The other skylights over here seem to be working okay. And just start over. Go to Build, Roof, Skylight. Get rid of that hole. Set that to 4 feet. See if that's showing up properly. Yeah, there it is. Now, multiple copying these things doesn't seem to be working. Not quite sure why, but I'm going to shift select both of those. And we'll make 3 copies. Hello, 3 copies. And move those down. Each copy minus 36 inches. See if those worked as copies. Okay, that worked. The point here is not whether I should have had to do what I just did. I just kept working until I got the result I wanted. And I didn't accept anything less than what I was looking for. And that's something, it's a kind of a competence that you develop over time. And you were talking about you don't have any CAD skills. Well, when I started with this software 20 years ago, I didn't either. But I studied the reference manual, I looked at video tutorials, I asked questions at Home Talk, and visited YouTube and looked at video tutorials there and so forth, and I figured it out. I gained skills because I wanted to to create with this software, and that's the point. Not how it's not perfect or how it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to work. You as the end user make it work, and that's the cogent point that you need to focus on, not the frailty or lack of perfection in your tools. Okay, thanks for watching.